Danny Gregory. Welcome to Draw With Me. What the Dickens? That was an awful lot of Dickenses. Didn't you think?
Sure was.
Yeah.
I think we gave everyone 2 weeks and they made good use of the time.
I know. We should be sick more often. It's awesome. I think I'm going to contact the Guinness Book of World Records and see if that's the largest collection of Dickens portraits assembled anywhere. What do you think?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yes. Wow. Well, that was really good. So anyway, yeah, I was sick last week. JJ was sick the week before. It's a sick time.
My mother, Margie, in the hospital.
Yes. Margie was not feeling well either.
RSV. That thing is not nice.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have that. I don't think. Did we? Probably not.
I don't think so. We weren't that sick. I mean, we were sick, but not that sick.
Yeah. But anyway, it's good to not be sick anymore.
Yeah, we're so happy to be back.
Yeah. Now we're going through the purgative period.
Yeah, we still sound a little sick.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. Well, there's lots of people all over visiting us here today. We've got Jane and just Jane from Canada. Excellent. Good. Glad to see you. We have the universal Ananda from freezing Bulgaria.
Ooh.
You know how often you have an Ananda and it just doesn't really work? You need to get your universal one so it works everywhere, including in freezing Bulgaria. We got Maria Schnabel visiting from Barcelona. Glad to be back. Glad to have you back. And then Nordenstam Hotmail. Hotmail's a traditional Swedish name. And she's visiting, or he or it's visiting from, they are visiting from snowy Sweden. Welcome. Simon Barker, back again from South Africa. Welcome. Creative Caroline in Castle Rock, Colorado. Welcome for the very first time. Excellent. We love to have new people. It's fantastic to see you. I hope you have a great time and you come back. We've got Perpignan, France, represented by Tangoise. Have you ever heard of Perpignan?
Perpignan?
Perpignan.
I would like to hear of it. I would like to go there.
We've got Michaela in San Francisco, who's back after an absence.
I just saw the Netherlands. I saw Taiwan. I see Italy, Russia,
and
Quebec.
Ellery from Cleveland.
And I think Diane was on a cruise ship. That's pretty cool.
Zdradavo from Slovenia.
Slovenia, awesome.
Cruise ship, yes.
And Jen is here from the Philippines, always gets a gold star for attendance.
Elizabeth forgot your name. JJ is her name. Jennifer.
I was
Jennifer
away for
James.
1 week.
Yeah, you go away for a week and people forget who you are. So, and JF in Italy, who I think is a regular.
Yes, absolutely.
Plant lady from Quebec. So good. So we've got a quorum. We have universal representation. I think we are ready to start.
Yeah, global hug.
So today we are going to do something. I don't think we've done anything. We haven't
done it in a while.
We haven't done anything quite exactly like this.
Oh, really? That cappuccino?
That wasn't really like this. Okay. So here's what our plan is. What we want to do is we want to celebrate baking. So we're missing the British Baking Show. We're in between seasons. So let's talk about what exactly it is. So JJ, on the first of the month.
No.
The first full moon.
Every full moon of the month.
What happens?
I make a cake.
She makes a cake.
I read it. It's some cooking newsletter, I think, from the New York Times that I got, maybe Sam Sifton. And he said this once, years and years ago, I read it. And I thought, that would be awfully nice to do. And then I kind of made it a New Year's resolution that I would do it. So I made a great cake in January. And then in February, I thought I would share the cake I made with all of you.
So yes, so we've missed the full moon because we were going to do it last week. It was just a little bit before.
It was last Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah, so we didn't get to do it, but we did get to go through the process. So here's the plan. We're going to do a lot of drawings. Oh, Hashi says they have a dinner party on the phone.
That's cool.
We have a dinner party on the 1st of the month. We call it the number 1 dining club.
That's right.
So, all right. So the idea is that we're going to draw the ingredients for this cake. It's a German chocolate bundt cake. Is it German chocolate? That's what it's called, right?
I mean, we could talk a little bit about the cookbook,
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through the ingredients, and then we're going to go through the steps of the recipe.
Right.
So there's probably
15
to 18 little drawings that we're going to do, fairly quick sketches. I plan to draw with my fountain pen and I'm going to use colored pencils afterwards. So
And you're going to go pretty fast.
I'm going to go pretty fast. I'm going to do line drawings, then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to color stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought what we would do, which we don't normally do, is we are going to show all the steps. I think we'll show all the pictures, right? Just so you can kind of plan it out and think about what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So all right. So here we are. So this is our recipe. Here's our recipe: Nana's German chocolate cake. Do you want to talk about this at all?
Yeah. Okay. So this book, the cookbook, can you show it
Let
or
me
not?
just come back to you. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So it's a new.
Hold it up a little bit.
It's a newish cookbook.
And you're covering his name.
Oh, sorry. So the author is a young man named Jeremy Salomon, and he is the nephew of a very dear friend of ours in New York City, Julie, who is
Also a great author.
a fantastic author. And Jeremy had a restaurant in New York when we still lived there. We used to go to quite often. He's like a rising star in the culinary world, but he's quite young, and he has his first cookbook out. So of course I had to buy it. And this cake is called
Nana's German chocolate.
yeah, we had a
Here, I
picture
have it
of
on
it.
screen. I have it on screen.
So
So this is his grandmother's German chocolate cake.
yeah. So I'll be honest. This full moon, it was a Tuesday. My mother was in the hospital. Danny was. It was like I almost didn't do it, but then I saw this recipe and I thought it's sort of simple, and I think I can pull it off.
And it has a couple odd elements to it.
Yeah,
doesn't
and
it?
I was like, I trust Jeremy. You know, he's not steered me wrong before. So simple, elegant. It's a good Tuesday cake. It felt like the right thing to do, and yeah,
Okay, so I'm going to rattle quickly through all the pictures so you can just see the things we're going to draw.
Right.
First, we're going to go through the ingredients. These are kind of crudely edited pictures that we took. So baking soda. And again, if you don't want to represent the things exactly the way these packages are, you can, but it's fun to draw packages. So we're going to draw baking soda. We're going to draw some butter. We're going to draw some chocolate chips. And we've got some eggs and some vanilla extract. And we've got some flour. And we've got some milk. And then finally we have some vinegar, white vinegar.
yeah,
Which to me was kind of new. I've never seen that.
yeah. I hadn't seen it. I
that
think it's
before.
kind of approximates buttermilk, like makes sour milk.
Right. So now the next thing we're going to draw. So we're going to draw those. Then we're going to draw the steps. So we've got the various steps, and JJ will tell us about the steps. But you can see there's various steps that we have here. There's a mixer. There's more steps. There's the oven, and then there's the cake. And we're going to talk about the final cake. So figure that's another half dozen pictures too.
Right. So you can do some. You can do all. You can do just the finished cake. You can do.
I don't know if you can
follow
draw
along-
the finished cake because we're not going to get to the finished cake until the end, but but it's up to you how you want to do it. We'll have a little bit of time, we'll have a little bit of time for
Yeah.
each step. So
I mean, I thought the packages were kind of fun, honestly.
yeah, so we'd figure 2-3 minutes per drawing,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back and color it in and use whatever time we have left. Okay, here we go. Let's start with our ingredients. Here we go. Let me just get us back to, here we are at the, so the first ingredients is a thing of baking soda. Let's make it a bit smaller. Put it over here. Baking soda. Okay. So here I am drawing my baking soda. I'm just going to draw a quick box. I like the way this box is open, shredded.
It's like Twiglet opened it.
Well, like Clover opened it, actually. I like this little piece of cake here. So even if you don't have a successful drawing of a piece of cake, you will at least have this cake here on a little plate. And then I'm going to Now, you could think about this as a way of representing or even sharing a recipe, right? So you could do the stages of the thing. This would be a way of sharing a recipe and saying, here's the different things you do. First you do this, then you do this, and then you do that. Or you need this much. You could write down the quantity here. You could write down the set. But I'm just going to do the ingredients, I think, along the top.
So I can say one time when we hosted our dear friend Prashant Miranda, who's an incredible artist, and he came to our house, and he did what
I wanted to go to the next one before we talk about this, because I'm kind of done drawing this, so I want to hear your story. So next is butter. So we've got this butter is really great looking.
It is. I selected it specifically for the label.
So I think I'm going to just do the big box. But okay, go ahead about this.
All right, so Prashant Miranda stayed over at our apartment, and he did what I think no other house guest has ever done before or since. He went into our nearly empty refrigerator and pantry and concocted a really great meal and just made it. And we came home from work, and there it was. We just assumed we'd go out for a restaurant. We came home and he had made magic, and we were like, Prashant, this is absolutely delicious. And so when he left us the recipe like this, drawn out on a little card. And of course his drawings are exceptional. But it kind of did all the ingredients and the little step. And I think I still have it. It was really special. So you could make a gift of this cake for somebody and then give them a little illustrated, or any cake, and just make an illustrated recipe card.
I think we have made that, haven't we?
It was keema, so it was ground meat of some sort, probably beef or turkey, and then he just chopped up whatever veg we had. It was just so good. It was so good. He's a very magical human. He's. I don't think it's possible for him to create something bad.
Yeah, you think about recipes and you think I should really make a recipe book. But you don't have to. You could just make a little card like this, where you share a Christmas recipe, or a
family recipe.
Just do a one-off. You don't kill yourself by being too absurd about it. All right, there's my butter with that beautiful looking deer on it. Stag, man. Right. I'm taking liberties with these packages.
I like how you had it say butter instead of challenge.
Yeah. It just seemed to, do the job. Because it doesn't really matter what brand you're using.
For sure.
When you have a recipe. All right, so this is chocolate chips.
Now, I think it does matter what kind of chocolate chips you use in such a, chocolate-forward recipe, right?
Did he list this particular kind of chocolate?
He didn't. He did want you to have 64% semi-sweet. So...
Okay, well, I'm going to try and approximate this lettering because it's really nice, and that's the main thing that there is on this.
The package is like foil. It's a bit shiny. You think you can capture that or no?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Negative. That's a negative.
But I will do my utmost to make it pleasing nonetheless. And these will all look a bit nicer once I put some color on them too. All right, chocolate chips. I'm trying to think, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do with these ingredients. So there's 4 or 5 left. I could do them, maybe I'll do them on the bottom and the top.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, so we have 2 rows. Let's see what the next one is. The next one is, eggs and a little thing of, so I could probably fit that in here. So I'm going to try fitting that in here into this corner. So I'm going to have a little bottle of, now does it need to be bourbon?
No.
Although everything is probably better.
Oh yeah, Jen is saying on the chocolate chips, cross the T's.
Oh, did I not cross the T's? Jeez. Guillard. There we go. I dotted my I's too. All right. Thank you for pointing it out.
Are you going to use the little measuring spoons?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the measuring spoons could be a nice embellishment that you could put somewhere, because when you have a complicated layout like this, you often will say, this could use a little something over here. So I would say things like measuring spoons or
The whisk.
or little, your mixing spoons or.
Well, that's why I included them in the photo for
Yeah,
you.
I think that was great. So you can use those as textural accents wherever you want. I'm going to kind of make up what this thing looks like.
It has like a little vanilla bean and flour on the side of it. You think you can approximate that?
Yeah, sort of. I did, kind of.
Totally not.
I did. No, I did.
Oh.
I just drew it in. It's like a little squiggle. I'm going to draw a few random eggs, kind of over here. How many eggs is it? Is it 3? Yeah.
3, yeah.
Yeah. These eggs are a little.
It's like $12 worth of eggs right there.
My eggs are not really normal looking. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of people panicking about the dotting of the T's. Yes, thank you.
A lot of Virgos in the audience, I think.
Yep. Okay, flour. Here's a bag of flour. So you can decide. I think I'm going to use. So I'm going to move down to the bottom of the page now.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So I'm going to use.
Because you feel like the cake itself will be in the middle?
No, I feel like the steps. I mean, maybe the cake should be down here at the bottom.
Really? I would think the cake would be in the middle. But
No, because I need to do the steps.
Okay.
This cake is the results, so the cake is down at the bottom. So I'm going to have. How many do we have? We have flour. We have
that milk. We have
and
the vinegar.
Vinegar. Okay. So I have 3 things. So I'm going to fit those 3 things down here at the bottom.
We have salt too, but we got rid of that because we didn't like the package.
Yeah. Salt is. Okay. So I'm going to just put a big. I'm just going to do the bag of flour. I'm not going to do the measuring cup.
People in Oregon mentioned that Bob's Red Mill is their neighbor.
Yeah, that's the best flour. I mean, it's the flour that I use. No, that's not actually true. No, I use the King one. What's it called? What's it called? King Arthur.
King Arthur, yeah. Well, you know, Danny is a obsessive baker of bread. If you read Danny's essays, he's waxed poetic on his love of bread baking, much to my personal benefit.
Much to my waistline's detriment. So I'm going to change the brand.
Sam is going to just draw Bob.
I'm changing it to King Arthur.
No.
Yep.
Why would you do that?
Doing it
That's rude.
because I want to draw a little king. Yeah, there it is. Flour. Feel free to.
I'll be honest, I bought this flour because I didn't want to infringe on your bread making flour.
Well, as indeed you should. So I'm just going to put a little bit of.
And we could talk about the reason the salt is not pictured. Because I sent a man to the grocery store to buy a very specific type of salt. And what did he get?
A different kind.
A totally different kind. I think anyone
I got sodium and I got chloride and I mixed my own.
Anyone who is in this chat who has baked anything ever knows you want to use diamond crystal salt in your baking.
That's not true. You're supposed to use kosher salt sea salt when you make bread,
No. Well, okay.
according to my mentor. All right, so I just added a little thing of salt here. I made it up. I know what a salt cellar looks like. Hopefully you do too. All right, moving on. So now I'm going to do this milk. Again, I don't think you need this cup, so I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to draw the carton of milk.
I kind of put the cup there in case you wanted it for a separate element.
Right, that was good. That was a good idea.
I was thinking these things through for you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a difficult day.
It was a difficult day. It was a difficult day. Also, I will tell you, as I was testing this cake for doneness, I had gone to physical therapy. So I'm like getting over this virus. My mom's in the hospital. Danny is sick. And I'm making this dumb cake. And I get the box of toothpicks out of the cupboard. And what does happen? The entire bottom of the box like unfolds. All these toothpicks go all over the floor. And we have these two little pugs, and I'm thinking, okay, that would be a real dangerous item for a dog. So I bend down to pick up these toothpicks, and my knee just gave way. So I'm like laying on the floor, like rolling around in toothpicks. I mean, it was just like, what else is going to go wrong? Now, something else did go wrong, and we'll tell you about that later. But yeah, I have a bum knee now. It's all that tennis, I'm telling you.
It's another toothpick injury.
I was laying on the floor in the kitchen, and you were in the other room, and you couldn't make hide nor hair of like what I was yelling about because it was just like all so absurd.
She yells a lot. It's hard to keep track.
There were several expletives used.
Right, so now we're moving on to a really gigantic bottle of vinegar. Unnecessary. You don't really need this much vinegar.
You don't, but when you do your shopping at Costco, I actually use vinegar quite often in the laundry. So
I was going to say, unless you want to do laundry while you're baking a cake.
And I hate to say this, and you can't get the perspective in this picture, but it is like an enormous, like 2-gallon jug of white vinegar. But I think when I bought it at Costco, it came in a 2-pack. It was a lot of vinegar. I think I bought it like 4 years ago.
All right, so there's a bottle of vinegar.
There's Twiglet having a drink of water.
I'm saving the space over here. For the cake itself.
Okay.
So we've got now, you can see I've got my ingredients at the top and I got my ingredients at the bottom. I'm happy with this.
Good.
I think we're ready to move on. Is everybody feeling good about this? Is anybody panicking? They're like, I don't know what you're doing.
You don't have to draw every ingredient.
Well, see, that's the problem is if you don't draw every ingredient, your cake may not turn out that well. But we know all about that. So, all right, now we're going to look at the steps. So, the steps, the question you have to think about now is, if we're going to draw these steps, do we draw like a lot of pots and pans? I don't know if I want to draw pots over and over again.
Yeah.
Bowls,
what about the mixer?
Well, I do want to do
my
that.
My pride and joy.
No, but I'm just coming up with an overall strategy because let's look at what we have. Okay, so we have, again, this is the step. The first step is you're melting the chocolate over the stove. So you've got
it's a double boiler, basically. Boiler.
So you've got the stove, you've got
it's the chocolate and the butter together.
Saucepan, then you got a bowl, so it's a double boiler.
Yeah.
And then the next one is you're mixing your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients. And then your next one is you're mixing, what is it, the milk? Milk and the
milky vinegar.
Milk and
or the vinegary milk.
Vinegary milk, that's the third step. The fourth step is you're kind of blending the whole thing with your cool blender and the mixer. And then the fifth one is you're transferring it into your greased pan. The next one is you're putting it in the oven. And then the final one is you got the cake. All right? So given that, I'm going to try and draw a double boiler. I'm using this as the inspiration, but I want to kind of make it clearer that it's a double boiler. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and...
Everyone's asking about the sugar. So I think you mix the...
Oh yeah, we don't even have sugars. Where's the sugar as an ingredient?
There was a huge bag of sugar.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
I assure you there was sugar.
All right, well, you should have sugar in here somewhere.
What a cake full of vinegar and no sugar.
Yeah.
Lisa said it's semi-sweet. It's anti-sweet. No, there was lots of sugar.
All right. So sorry. This, let's put some sugar in here. Let's just quickly shove down some sugar down here. So what should the sugar look like? A little box, you think?
It was in a bag.
Ugh, another bag. Okay. I'm just going to make up what a bag of sugar looks like. I'm sure you've seen bags of sugar in your time. You can figure it out. So here it's going to be a big bag of sugar. And there's going to be like a smiling face in the corner because it's sugar. Sugar.
Sugar, sugar. Do you ever use sugar when you're doing watercoloring? Or is that a salt thing only?
Salt.
Yeah.
All right, so that's my sugar. You can tell it's sugar. It says sugar on it. All right, so going back to this thing, because I'm more interested in this, which is here's my chocolate. And here is the steam rising and the bubbling water.
It's the chocolate and the butter getting melted together.
Yeah. So
happening here.
what we could do is we could say I'm going to start lettering these things, labeling these things.
Cool.
And it's not particularly cool. I'm just being informational. So chocolate and butter, right?
That's right.
And then this is, yeah. So I think this is clear.
There's a key thing about double boilers is you have to make sure the bowl doesn't touch the water.
Well, mine's floating like 6
It
inches.
really
above
is.
it.
It's like got the steam effect. It's levitating.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you understand this. Okay? I think you get it.
I get it.
You get it, right? All right. So now let's move on to the next one, which is mixing the dry ingredients. So I'm going to do a bowl of dry ingredients.
Including the sugar.
I'm going to do a bowl that has kind of powder in it.
Oh, you know what you skipped?
What?
The sifting.
No, I know. I did it on purpose because nobody wants to draw sifting.
Oh, it's kind of a fun, like, little colander thing.
I've been drawing for 25 years, and I can tell you with certainty.
It's not fun to draw a sifter.
I've drawn so many hundreds of sifters. I've drawn snifters. I've drawn them all, and they're not fun. All right, so now we've got our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients in two separate bowls, and we're going to combine them.
We did sift them first, just for
I'm gonna
full
write.
disclosure.
I will explain how do we do that, okay? So there's a way of coping with this oversight.
Those look like cracked eggs.
What does?
Your dry ingredients.
I'm going to put some little dots that indicate dryness. Okay, so now I'm combining the dry and the wet. I think this speaks for itself, no? What do you think?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm willing to accept
we can label it. We can label it. So we can label what goes into these things if we want to. But it just seems like it's going to be kind of messy. Because you can kind of tell what is it. You know what a bake. You know that.
You know you're going to combine them at some point, right?
Yeah. So what? So that's the chocolate chips. I can write chips. The chocolate chips and the butter, and then you put the dry and the wet together.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's good enough.
Okay.
Look, you followed the recipe, and we'll get to what happened. So, all right. So what's the next thing we do is we're mixing the.
You got to get that. So you put the vinegar into the whole milk.
So I'm going to draw. This is an opportunity to draw that beautiful. What's it called?
The KitchenAid.
No, the
Whisk.
The whisk. Yeah. There's the whisk. I'm sorry. There's the whisk. And that is.
A whisk is a cute thing, isn't it?
It is. So that's vinegar.
It's sour milk, essentially. I guess it's approximating buttermilk.
Oh, really? Why not just use buttermilk?
I don't know. I mean, it's Nana's German chocolate cake.
Oh, Nana. All right, so then we mix that with the chocolate? Mix that into the whole thing, right?
You mix that into the whole thing, yeah.
So
sour milk. Oh, twigs. Oh, twigs, I know. I know, baby.
okay. So what should we call this? What do we call what do we call the rest of the ingredients?
What do you mean the rest of the ingredients?
Well, you're mixing the vinegar and milk to make sour milk, and you're putting it into
the batter.
Batter up. This will all be so much clearer when it's got colored pencil added to it. Okay, so I think that's good. We've got those 3 steps worked out. Step 4. Now, here's a dirty secret that we're going to share with you. We didn't actually use this mixer.
I know.
But we like the mixer.
I picked a very easy recipe because of all of my hardships last week. So, but the mixer is my pride and joy. I have to say,
this is the orange mixer that we have. It's
I purchased this when I lived in New York City in a studio apartment. I had no kitchen, the smallest little countertop.
I don't think you even used it for years.
I just was one day in a Bed Bath and Beyond, and I was like, I just need to have this thing. So I didn't even get it out of the box for years.
It's gorgeous, and it comes in so many beautiful colors. It's the best mixer there is, right?
I mean, I think it's right up there.
I mean, this is the one that they have on British Baking Show.
It's sort of a luxury item.
They have it on the British Baking Show.
Yeah.
With the Smeg
refrigerators.
That's
everybody's asking about the eggs.
Where are the eggs? The eggs went in with the wet ingredients.
Yeah. So you've got the buttery chocolate, and you put the sugar, eggs, and vanilla in.
Let's list these ingredients just because people are confused, okay?
Okay.
So the dry ingredients are flour, right?
Yep.
Baking soda.
Yep. But you don't put you put the eggs, sugar, and vanilla in before you add the dry.
Wait, what? I thought those go in the wet ingredients.
Okay, so you make the double boiler of the chocolate and the butter. Then you add the eggs, the sugar, and the vanilla. And then you sift the other dry ingredients, and they go into the wet.
Right, but the dry ingredients are the flour and the baking soda.
And the salt.
And the sugar?
No, the sugar is,
Sugar is what?
So you make the double boiler of the chocolate and the butter, and then
you
you add the eggs,
that.
the sugar, and the vanilla, and that's the wet.
Okay, so this is the chocolate and the butter and what? The vanilla, right?
The sugar and the eggs.
Go ahead. Vanilla.
Chocolate, butter.
Vanilla. Sugar.
Which
is not really a dry ingredient.
Eggs. Well, the sugar melts in.
All right. So now we've listed them. And what about the milk?
So once all the dry is into the wet, then you add the sour milk.
All right. Then we did the sour milk. So that's the next thing. Okay. Yeah, I think we've got it. We've got all the ingredients. If anybody's confused by this, let me know. No, seriously, because I might have screwed it up.
We should just post the recipe.
I want to go back to drawing this blender though, because that's.
Yeah, I mean, we use it a lot, a legit lot.
We use it to squeeze lemons, to make orange juice.
Yeah, it has an attachment that you remove. There's a little.
I heard it has a really cool attachment you can get to make shaved ice.
Yeah, we got that, and it's not been used.
What's up with that? You waiting for summer? Mm-hmm. Waiting for summer of 2027?
Oh, I'm getting buffering.
All right, so then should we say that you mix the ingredients with a blender? The mixer?
No.
So the mixer is just there it's kind of standing around looking good?
I mean, you could put the dry into the wet in the mixer.
Right.
Yeah, I think you called the mixer a blender.
Yeah, I know. It's a mixer.
It's a mixer.
It's not a blender. It's a mixer. But I'm just putting it there for, for decorative purposes.
It is cute. It is
cute.
so cute.
It's cute. All right, so moving back.
And that orange is real cute.
So now we're back to...
the sour milks.
No, now we're back to we're getting ready to put in the mold. We've done the sour milk.
Okay. So yeah, it's a bunt. It's a bunt mold, bunt pan.
Yeah, which is not an easy thing to draw. So... All right, this is a rather inelegant bunt pan, but it's recognizably a bunt pan.
Yeah.
Again, once I add colored pencil to this, it'll be like a photograph. All right, so now we're going to put the batter into the bunt pan. All right, so now we've got this. Now we're ready for the oven, right? Hello?
Yeah, I'm just addressing someone who's unhappy with our bickering.
You know what? It's obviously a person who's not married. All right, so I'm just drawing this oven. And what's the temperature that it goes into?
350. So, people are asking, did I grease the pan? So in full transparency,
Yes.
my bunt pan is a non-stick pan, but I put a little butter and a little flour on it.
I'm going to add that in. I'm just going to add it in as a label. And, okay, so there's my oven. And there's the thing inside. I think it's pretty clear what that is. And then finally, we've got the cake. So, all right, so JJ, we're at the stage where we have to talk about this cake.
Okay, so...
Oh, wait, how long does it go in for 350? That's the real question.
It bakes for 40 to 50 minutes until a toothpick inserted comes out clean. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just figuring out how to draw that. Now I'm drawing a toothpick.
There was a picture with the box of toothpicks.
I'm just drawing a single toothpick. All right, I think that I've got it. So let's talk about the cake.
Okay, so the cake, as we mentioned, Danny was under the weather.
Oh, okay.
Danny was not well. Danny was sick.
This is not how I would have told the story.
Okay, but
yes.
you were laying on the couch. So we had a long day, been in the hospital with my mom, and then my knee gave out. So it was like I'm making this cake, and there was not going to be any cooking of actual dinner. That from a local place that does yummy enchiladas, and I would go pick it up. So Danny while I'm cooking, probably laying on the floor with my knee gone out, Danny puts in the order online and says, okay, it'll be ready to pick up at 7 o'clock, say. Great. So I put the cake in. It has 40 to 50 minutes. And I think, no problem. I'll have the food. I'll be back. I'll be in time to check the cooking of the cake.
While you're telling this really long story, I'm going to start coloring.
Okay, good.
And I'm going to come back and do the cake.
There you go. So I go to said restaurant, and they say, we have no order for the Gregorys. So I call my sick husband and I say, darling dear, where have you phoned this order into?
Is this the kind of detail that's necessary to tell the story properly? Okay, go on.
Turns out it's a different location of said enchilada restaurant that is in the opposite direction of town, halfway across Phoenix. And I said, well, dear, you're going to have to check. I won't be back in time to pull this cake from the oven. You're going to have to check it.
So I unplugged my ventilator.
So he checked it, called, told me, okay, toothpick not totally clean. I said, great. Put it back in for like another, I can't remember, 5-10 minutes, whatever it was. And I was like, but you can't like walk away and forget about the cake. And I
could barely walk.
And I think I got him, I was like, don't take your eye off the ball here. And I think I might have overhyped this point.
I was nervous.
I've overhyped this point.
I was nervous. I did not want to screw up this cake.
Yeah. So what did happen is I
pulled out the toothpick.
Pulled out the toothpick, said the cake looks good, pulled it out, put it on the wire rack to cool. I came home, we had our enchiladas, and when it came time to
I pointed out to you that the cake looked strangely deflated.
After we've eaten, this is like an hour and a half later. Yeah. Oh no, the connection has gone in and out.
I don't care, keep going.
Yeah, all right. So the long story short is, in an effort to not overbake this cake, which I think I have driven the fear of God into Danny while I was away driving madly around Phoenix, Arizona, looking for enchiladas.
Oh my God, come to the conclusion. The cake was
underbaked.
It wasn't just underbaked.
It was so
inedible.
severely underbaked that it couldn't be eaten.
Yeah, so we've never eaten this cake. And this is a picture of what appears to be a cake, but it's not really. It's actually the outer shell of a cake. It's like one of those things that's been eaten by insects inside, and it looks normal outside, but yeah.
Yeah. So the long story ends in a trash in the bin.
Fortunately, though, we managed to find a picture of what it's supposed to look like. So that's what this is. This is not our cake. It's another cake, but it's what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. Someday we'll try again.
Yeah.
It
was not the recipe's fault.
So a few people have mentioned the German chocolate cake with the coconut and so someone in the chat, and I apologize, I didn't pay more attention to who, but the German chocolate cake as we know it was an invention of some baker in Texas in the 50s. This is Nana's German chocolate cake, so named because Nana was German, and the author of this wonderful cookbook, Jeremy Solomon, it's called Second Generation, Hungarian and Jewish Classics Reimagined for the Modern Table. It's a really wonderful book. And I have to say, we know Jeremy personally, and we know his aunt very well. She's one of our dearest friends. So it's a wonderful little cookbook.
In theory, this is a really good recipe.
So I don't doubt that Jeremy is not to blame in the fiasco that occurred with our cake. And Nana certainly is innocent. Nana's German chocolate pudding cake. It was like,
It's a bunch of crumbs.
it was still batter.
I still think about what it might have tasted like.
So Queenie is asking, couldn't you have put it back in the oven to try to save it? So, okay,
Good
yes.
question.
Good question. So had we put it back in the oven...
Wait, we did put it back in the oven.
Well, we put it back in the oven after it had already cooled.
But when you researched it, didn't it say that...
Well, that's the problem. So it didn't, there was no saving. And then I started reading about salmonella. Keep in mind, we've both been sick. I've been in the hospital with my mother, who's very sick. And it's like, really the last thing we need on top of all of our problems last week was gastrointestinal problems. So I just said, we're going to enjoy the full moon some other way.
It's a sad story.
It's a sad story. I tried to kind of pick, like I also read you can take the crumbs off the area, the part that is cooked, and put them save them for like crumb use of like some of the, like say you make a cheesecake, you can put chocolate cake crumbs on it. I don't know. At that point, I was just at that point, I needed Chardonnay more than I needed chocolate cake. Let's just say that's where my brain was going.
Yeah, it's a sad story.
It was a sad story. But if you bake a lot, you will fail. I think it's a metaphor for most things in life, right? Like, if you I was watching, because I regular viewers know I play a lot of tennis, and I was watching a speech Roger Federer gave, one of the greatest players of all time, and he talks about statistically, any given tennis player loses half the points of any match. You can lose half. Like, that's even at the top of your game.
I was going to draw a different conclusion, which is don't delegate. If you have something to do, just do it yourself.
Yeah.
Don't have some poor invalid pulling him out of his deathbed and then blame him for, she didn't actually blame me, but you know what I'm saying.
I blamed you on this show, hence the complaint about our bickering. Yeah, at the time, I was a bit more generous. It was like, we were in it together.
I was the main beneficiary of this, potential beneficiary of this cake. I was going to get to eat it, but
we did have enchiladas after all, and that's not all bad.
That's true.
They were cold.
That's true also.
Yeah, Lisa mentions a waste of really expensive eggs. It was kind of expensive, the amount of butter, and I won't lie, these fancy chocolate chips, they were not nothing.
But look, if you want to make sure that you throw away the very best. All right, well, this is a suitable memorial, I think, to this. Don't you think? It's a suitable memorial.
Yeah. People are asking because the storytelling was quite choppy. Do you think the replay will be tickety-boo?
Absolutely.
Good. Laura says, so the cake had technical difficulties just like this live stream? Oh, boy. Life is hard.
Oh, boy. Particularly ours. All right, well, there you go. So now I just have to I have to draw the cake. Do we have time? Yes, I have 8 minutes and I can draw the cake.
You have time.
So I did want to say that I just finished making a really good new video that I think is going to be out on Tuesday.
Yeah?
And it's about cheap materials, using cheap materials.
That's the opposite of what I did in this cake?
Yeah, and I'm actually I learned quite a lot doing it. It's one of the longest, it's taken me longer to make it than just about anyone. I've been talking about this video for a while, and but I finished it last night. And I'm just thinking about these colored pencils because part of what I talk about is colored pencils and what's the difference between good colored pencils and less good ones and whether good ones are good enough, cheap ones are good enough, and made for an interesting exploration. But I also did watercolors, and I did tempera, and I did markers, and I did paper were all elements in this little experiment that I did in this video. So that'll be out on Tuesday, and I hope that you find it useful. All right. Clean toothpick, very important. So I think I have to draw the cake because I'm not sure that I'm going to have time to color in all these other things. So at the very least, let me draw this beautiful stand-in cake. Is that a sleeping dog?
She's really huffing and puffing back there.
She's very dreamy. It's a little bit more like a life preserver than a cake, but that's okay, though.
Sometimes cake is just what you need to
It doesn't have to look
save
good.
your life.
That's true also.
We do love a bundt cake in this house. I have to say, bundt cake is, especially if you're making like a weekday cake, right? It's
Because it looks nice, but you don't really have to do that much work to make it look nice.
It also kind of stays fresh, and it's like a little, you can snack on it. You can have it with your breakfast tea. You don't have to feel like, you're a real cretin for like chowing down on a big layer cake. You can kind of snack on it. It's a snacking cake. I've heard that term before, and I love it. Snacking cake.
I like that idea. I'm putting mine on a blue plate so you can see that it's hollow. All right, so there. So now I have time to relax and finish doing these last bit of coloring. Coloring is so much fun, isn't it?
It really is.
I do like coloring.
Never gets old.
It's just less stressful than
Oh,
having to-
I love this comment. So Jane just mentioned she drew our U.S. products, but she's going to make a cake and draw her products, different packaging and brands, so it'll be different. So I really would love to see, we have a lot of countries representing here. So show us what your equivalent packaging would look like.
I want to see a Bulgarian bundt cake and a South African one.
Yeah, fun. I have to say, I love packaging. I love the way, when you go someplace new and you go to their grocery store and you see just the differences in the way the lettering is, and how, I just think it's endlessly fun.
I'm quite proud of this drawing of this cow.
I feel like the last time we did this on Draw With Me, we did the steps to making a cappuccino, and you made a tragic cow. I honestly don't think we've ever laughed more than that particular episode.
It's true.
It was one of the funniest. It was just, some of your I think there was a microwave involved in making a cappuccino. So imagine the friends of ours in the chat from Italy were like logging off immediately, but also horrified.
Yeah. Yeah, we work hard to offend and alienate people.
We offended at least one person in the chat today.
If we haven't offended you yet, please come back next week.
Oh, look who's
All right,
here.
so look.
Clover's coming.
Clover's here just in time for the grand reveal. I'm going to hide this bundt cake.
Oh, my puppy.
All right, if you could make out more quietly, because I'm trying to do the big reveal.
Okay.
She's right, so here we go. We're not talking about dogs right now. We're talking about the full recipe, which is so large I can't get it on the screen all at once. But yeah, so what I would do next is I think I would do a divider of some kind. So I'm divide.
What about like a doily?
Yeah.
You could put little measuring spoons. That would be a fun divider.
I think I'm just going to do, I'm not even sure what I'm doing. I'm doing some kind of just a thing that says this is the recipe and this is the ingredients. I'm sure you'll come up with some more creative way of doing that than I have, but I'm not even sure what that means. It's like little perforated paper. But yeah, so this is the
little ants.
This is the ingredients and this is the recipe. I don't know if that's at all clear, but
not including the trash bin.
Yeah, that's not part of the recipe. But here's what I think I will do now. I think I will number the steps.
You have 1 minute.
I have plenty of time.
Since we skipped last week, we can go over length.
Yay.
Just keep going. Okay, little bud. Okay, little bud.
All right, so I kind of number them. Again, this recipe is not exactly really a recipe. I kind of skipped steps and made stuff up, but you get the basic idea. And the basic idea is tell stories, make recipes, do things with your drawing. I think that's really the larger point that I would want to make with this ultimately is use your drawing to communicate, to tell stories, to share, to do things. Not just for you as an exercise, although that's a lot of the fun of it, but also like, it can be utilitarian and that's nice as well. It's also a way of sharing it with other people and having other people in your family perhaps say like, oh, that's so nice. I never thought of doing an illustrated recipe before. It also can be clear, in my case, not necessarily that clear, but it can be clear as to, in a way that the words alone might not be.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like I'm holding my breath. All right. So, JJ?
Yeah. I had fun. Did you have fun?
I did have fun.
I missed doing it last week. Oh, I've got a wild pug puppy here. Wild.
All right. So, thanks very much for joining us today. So we, more and more people are becoming members, which is nice, members of the channel. If you want to become a member, you get to see additional stuff that I make, behind the scenes thing. In fact, this new video that I was just talking about, I might have 4 additional long form demos that I'm going to share just with members that are going to come out of that. And you're going to get to see me forge some of the greatest paintings ever made. It's not a joke. It's
I know. I've seen your forgeries.
Yeah. So you'll get to see those if you become a member. You become a member for $2 or $3 a month or more. Let me emphasize that. You can become a member at however much money you feel like you want to spend, you can, and then you get access to this other stuff. So yes, so become a member. Just click the join button, or there's information down below as to how to do that. I want to see your recipes, so please share them on Facebook or on Instagram, and make sure that you put a little hashtag that says hashtag SBS Draw with me so we can find it, and we'll see it next week. That'll be really fun. I write an essay every week. I wrote a really good one this week, I have to say. I know I say that every week. I say that every week, but sometimes I have fun doing it, and sometimes it's less fun. This was a really fun one, and it's really about how I was weird as a child, my odd childhood. I think you'll find it interesting, possibly, but entertaining, probably. My new course, The Creative License, is out. You can sign up for it at sketchbookschool.com and subscribe to this channel. JJ, any other things you want to say or anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
No, I'm just happy that
I feel like I want some cake now.
we're back. Yeah, I do. I am a little more than a little hungry, as I'm
good.
sure everyone is.
Are you? I'm not sure that everyone is, but
I mean, how could you? We just
and have
talked
some
about
cake.
chocolate cake for an hour.
yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a lot. All right, guys. See you again next week, and thanks for drawing with me.